Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun.
Welcome back to the Stealing Home Show, the most unserious baseball show on the planet, hosted by the best brother-sister duo in baseball. I am Anthony with my lovely sister, as always, Lisa. And I want to say the March for October has officially begun. It is now early August. Before you know it, it will be September. And then before you know it, capital IT, it'll be October. So that being said, we are a long ways into the season. It is no more a lot of baseball left to be played. And I think this might be the best show we've ever had. With what we're going to talk about today, best show.
Oh, wow. Then I can't wait to see it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're in it, girl. So.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I don't know if you knew that. You're going to be a part of it. And so are you if you're watching. So if you're watching and you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe. We do a weekly baseball show every week on Monday. And we aim for Friday, once every 2 Fridays. We also put out a baseball video as well, just something random that we want to talk about for that portion of our month. All right, you want to get into what happened last week in baseball?
Yeah, please. Let's do it.
All right, loving the Tampa Tarpon hat, by the way. All right, let's look at the midweek results. These are the series that we had going on. The Cleveland Guardians sweeping the Detroit Tigers. So the Guardians staying on top of that American League Central. The Orioles beating the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays seem to have just completely thrown up the white flag. They're not very good this year. Shocker. The Rockies doing a reverse. Rockies beating the Angels away at Los Angeles. The A's and the Giants split. Pirates beat the Houston Astros. So the Pirates are starting to heat up. The Reds beat the Cubs. And I guess we'll talk about it a little bit. But the Cubs are they're a disappointment to me this year. I thought I didn't expect that much from them. But I didn't think they were going to be this bad. Cardinals and Rangers. Cardinals beat the Rangers. The Cardinals, not sure if they want to make the playoffs or not, from what I see. The Braves beat the Brewers. There's your Brewers, the first place National League Central. The American League Central has done pretty well, and we'll look at the standings later. But the American League Central has done pretty well. The National League Central, I think, has been as average and bad as we thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. Yankees beat the Phillies. Rays and Marlins split a 2-game series. Sox over the Mariners. Diamondbacks continue to be the Diamondbacks. They stay hot. They swept the Nationals. The Mets with, oh my God, Mr. Sunshine and the Polar Bear. They beat the Twins. The Royals swept the White Sox, who we will talk about today. They are on pace for history. They're going for it. And did the Padres sweep the Dodgers? Yes, but I think it was a 2-game series, so they swept them in 2 games.
I was confused by that, too.
Still, though, pretty good.
Good news for the Padres, yeah.
And I'm
letting you run through these because I know we're going to talk about the standings, so I'm just letting you get through them, by the way.
Yeah, perfect. That's cool. And before we move over to the weekend, though, I've been saying the Dodgers have had trouble with the Padres a little bit this year.
Not really.
Yes, really. They have. They're like, what, 3-7 against the Padres this year? That's not a good record. All right, let's go to the weekend series. Royals beat the Tigers. That's something that you expect. How about my Rays, baby? Beating the Houston Astros, the most average team in baseball. Don't look now, but I think they've won like 6 of their last 7 series. And the one that they didn't win was a tie. They split it against the Marlins. So they're just winning series. They trade away all of their good players, and they continue to win. The Mariners, look at that, beating the Phillies. Are the Phillies just bad right now? Are the Mariners hot? Who really knows? The Red Sox beating the Rangers because it looks like the Rangers don't want to repeat as World Series champions this year. Who can blame them? A little hangover from last year. The Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankees take that series. The Blue Jays continuing not to win any series because they've given up, like I said. Marlins splitting with the Braves. Diamondbacks are back, and they're not going anywhere. It's the second half, so you know they're going to be good. Bad first half, good second half. Last year it was good first half, bad second half. So they flip-flop. Cubs beat the Cardinals, trying to muster anything to get back into the race, but I think it's too late for the Cubs. The Angels beat the Mets. Looks like that Mr. Sunshine kind of wore off. Oh my God, you lost to the Angels. How'd that happen? Shout out Mike Trout. He will not be playing this year because he tears everything in his leg. That's kind of sad. He might be one of those what-if players, but he's still a Hall of Famer in my eyes. 10 good years. He's a nasty player.
He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he absolutely is a what-if player. And that's just that's unfortunately going to be the story for Mike Trout.
At least we had him for 10 years during the 2010s while we had him. And who's to say he doesn't come back and still be a dog? Because he's Mike Trout. He can roll out of bed. He'll probably be able to hit a baseball until he's 50, to be honest. All right, the Giants beat the Reds. Padres continuing their hot streak. The Rockies weren't at home, and they're not going to reverse Rocky the Padres. The Padres beat the Rockies. Nationals beat the Brewers, so the Brewers are starting to falter a little bit. What's the word there? I don't know. Falter. The Twins sweeping the White Sox again. That is, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 losses in a row for the White Sox. The Dodgers split the A's, which is, how do you do that if you're Los Angeles? They're starting to scuffle a little bit, but they are without Freddie Freeman. I don't know if you noticed, but Freddie Freeman's son is like in the hospital with some kind of illness right now, so Freddie Freeman hasn't played with them for 8 games. It's a huge bat, but yeah, praying for Max Freeman, his son. And then the Orioles and Guardians split as well. That's 2 first-place teams. Good series. They ended up splitting. All right, here's the fun part. Now that it's the March to October, and I've rattled off all my BS, I guess, or just going over the series, let's look at the division standings. Let's look at the National League. Lisa, do you want to talk, or what do you think with any of these divisions? Who's got it wrapped up? Which one are you kind of eyeing on the most? And we can just get after it.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, pulling up. So yeah, do you want to start with why do we start with the National League? I feel like it's American League, National League, just alphabetical order.
I don't know. I'm always American League first, and I figure I just switch it up a bit.
You always trip me up with that because it's always AL, NL, and like everything. And then I come on the show, and then it's like, let's talk about the NL, and I'm like,
I want to switch it up a bit. I feel like we might not give the National League enough love.
We do. How could we not? So yeah, I mean, so far in the lead right now, we have the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Brewers for the East, the West, and the Central. I don't think that's any big surprises. I think what's more surprising, or at least maybe somewhat concerning for Phillies and Dodgers folks, are the little scuffles that they're having. I mean, we saw the Phillies not delivering against the Mariners or the Yankees this last week. We saw the Dodgers having a little bit of trouble against the Padres and the A's.
Called it.
So, I mean, there's some interesting things going on in the NL. Behind them in the wild card spots, you've got the Braves, Padres, Diamondbacks. I mean, these guys, I don't see why any of them wouldn't continue to do just as well and be actual playoff contenders. And what's crazy is behind them, there's, I would say, another 3 teams that are just as strong too, which are the Mets, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. Maybe not as strong as the Braves, Padres, and Diamondbacks, but any of these 6 could really be scuffling it out to the race to October and really becoming serious playoff contenders. So it might not be that the Dodgers miss the playoffs this year, but they might not go far, which I still think would be very funny.
You are such a hater. Why do you not want to see Shohei Ohtani in the playoffs?
I don't know how many times I have
You're
to
like a
explain
love
the
hate.
same
You're like a
thing to
love
you.
hater. I don't get you.
I
Love
don't know-
Ohtani, but you want to see him fail.
I don't know why I have to keep saying that. It's not that I don't want that for him. It's that I think it would be really funny.
So you're like literally the Joker, and you just, at the end of the movie, why do bad people do bad things?
We do this every episode. Yeah, that's my whole Dodgers take, is I just think it's funny.
You are the worst. You are the Joker. You're Heath Ledger. I'll say, do you think that everything you said? Yeah, I 100% agree, except for the part where you said you think that there are 3 teams that could be making it to the playoffs as well, which could be the Mets, Cardinals, and Pirates. I'm gonna be real.
What I'm saying is that I think that the Mets, Pirates, and Cards, any of them could
I'm gonna be
move
real.
into a position.
I don't see the standings changing from what they are right now. Outside of like maybe, and I'll say this, outside of maybe the Padres catching up to the Dodgers. That's what I'm low-key rooting for. I want the Padres to win the West because the Dodgers just put together such a super team. I kind of don't want it to be that easy, and it's never that easy. Like they've had a super team for a while, and they've only won one World Series, and it was in 2020 during COVID year. So it's never that easy to win a World Series, but it just seems like it would be easy when they assemble the best team since the
Dodgers,
murderers row Yankees. Yeah.
I mean, looking at it like this, right? The Braves and the Padres are how many games behind? Like
Padres are 4.5, and the Braves are 6, so they could catch up to the first place teams.
Right. And then you've got behind them, I mean, Mets and Pirates. I don't really see it for the Pirates. I think of the 3 teams I talked about, I I think actually the Mets and the Cardinals, I would actually put my money on as being kind of black horses in this race. But there's nothing to say that these top three teams can't
I'm
change
not saying that they
between
can't,
now and
but I just
October.
say I don't see it. I think the 6 teams that are in it now, minus the Diamondbacks, I wasn't that hot on the Diamondbacks, but they've been on a run lately. And like I just feel like they might be a team that's streaky because last year they did the same thing and they were on a real good run in the first half. So I think the Mets aren't going to make it because the Diamondbacks are the Diamondbacks. They're back, baby. And I don't think the Cardinals are going to make it just because I've seen them kind of slow down a little bit. I was high on the Cardinals, and now I've seen them kind of slow, and I'm not that high on them anymore. The Pirates, Paul Skeens only pitches once every 5 days. So, I mean, they have a great rotation outside of Paul Skeens. It's not a one-man show. But, I mean, Jared Jones, I think, is still hurt. They have this other pitcher, Ortiz, who's not bad either. But, I mean, it's the Paul Skeens show, in my opinion. He's your marquee guy.
Is.
And he only pitches one
It
every 5 days. The Giants, Cubs are definitely done. I don't because and it's not the fact that like okay, so the Cubs are 6 games back, and also the Braves are 6 games back of the Phillies. But the thing is, when you look at the Braves and Phillies, they only have to catch up to the Phillies. When you look at the Cubs versus the wild card spot, they have to jump 5 teams in order to get there. So you're not really back. You're behind 6 games to the Diamondbacks. But there's too many teams for you to jump, in my opinion, to get that spot because you might catch the Diamondbacks, but you're going to have to catch up the other 4 teams that are in front of you because they might not lose. That's just too many teams.
No. If you're not the Braves, Padres, Diamondbacks, Mets, Pirates, or Cardinals, I think it's over for you this season. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to let you know that. If you're a fan of any team that I did not just rattle off right now, it's over. Now, when it comes to who's going to win versus who's going to be the wild card and which teams will actually be wild card, I think that's still up in the air. But I think this set is pretty set on these 9 in some order.
But I will say, and we'll look at the American League in a bit, the National League is the league that is the most primed for chaos because there's a lot of teams within that window that could hopscotch each other. It just takes one bad series, one good series. And that's what you were kind of getting at when you said that into those teams. Yeah.
Why maybe we shouldn't expect chaos from them at all. It's very possible that since they are so no, I mean, because you're right. Like on paper, there's no reason that the Cardinals couldn't catch up or somebody couldn't catch up to the Brewers or even the Dodgers or even the Phillies. Like it could happen, but like realistically, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Speaking of the Cardinals, too, because I was high on them, and they also just got our boy Fam from the Chicago White Sox.
No, we are the Fam. He is Tommy Pham.
He's okay, sure. But, yeah, did you see you were on the couch. We were watching at Mom and Pop's Sunday Night Baseball, and they were interviewing Tommy Pham. And did you hear what he said during Sunday Night Baseball when they had him mic'd up?
Which part?
Someone asked him, like, what Olympic sport you would do. And this is an athlete, and he says he pretty much shooting. He's like, I've been shooting guns in the off season, and I would shoot.
You know what's so crazy about that? Side tangent. We were talking, me and my friends were talking about like which one would you pick up now, and I was like, it's got to be shooting, right? I mean, the fact that we don't have more Americans there kicking butt is kind of embarrassing.
We should own shooting. We should get the gold medal in shooting.
It should be concerning. We should show up and they'd be like, what are they here for?
We invented like the quick draw in the Wild West. We might have invented. I mean, what, Smith and Wesson? I don't know.
There's that guy who's only been doing it for like 2 years, and he took what, like silver or something in the air rifles,
an American?
or in the air pistol. No, he's from Turkey.
Oh.
So I'm like, if I start now, that's 4 years. I could take gold. I don't know.
I just thought it was funny. Tommy Pham, who said earlier when there was like that beef between him and the catcher from the Brewers. He said, "If you want to fight, that's why I take jiu-jitsu in the off season."
Oh, I know. No,
and now he's shooting guns. Watch out, Tommy Pham he went from jiu-jitsu to shooting guns. So you gotta watch out for Tommy Pham. He is dead serious.
In the off season, we need to have like you know how at the end of high school they have like most likely to XYZ, like most like prom king and this and that. Like if we were to do that for the season, then most likely to survive an apocalypse would be Tommy Pham.
100%.
Like he's not going down. I don't care if it's zombies or the Russians or whoever. He's taken them all down. I want to be on his compound. I believe in him to keep us safe.
Tommy Pham doesn't have a shelter. people's shelter from Tommy Pham.
He doesn't. He doesn't need a shelter.
Yeah, he doesn't need a shelter. That guy's crazy. All right, let's look at the American League. Let's see what they got cracking over there on that side. The side that Lisa wanted to start with, and we're going now. All right, so I mean,
Alphabetically. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, the Yankees and the Orioles are straight up in a battle for the American League East, with the Red Sox kind of hanging in there 6.5 with 2 months left to play. The West looks like a crock pot. I mean, the Rangers aren't too far behind, but the Astros and the Mariners are right next to each other. I think it's going to stay that way until the very end. That's going to be exciting to watch. The Central, I think the Guardians kind of have it until one of the other two teams want to step up. The two teams being the Twins and the Royals.
Guardians have it. Guardians have this. That's not where the chaos is going to. This is going to be the bracket of chaos. This, what you're looking at right now, is going to be absolute chaos ensuing. The Guardians will be in the playoffs. They're going to win Central. This is not a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be interesting is East and West, because as we can see, the Orioles and the Yankees are tied right now. And so it would be easy for me to say right now, oh, well, it's obviously that both of them are going to probably make it to the playoffs, one as the lead and then one as the wild card. I don't know that that's true, actually. I think it's very possible that whichever of these two teams does not make it as the winner of their division somehow does not make the playoffs.
Well,
Like,
I've been saying that I think the Reds and the Yankees have played better, and we'll talk about that. But I've been saying that I think the Red Sox could make the playoffs over the Yankees.
Now, what I think is interesting is that you have the Astros, which I think last week we were talking about. I mean, you know how I feel about the Astros. The Astros are 1 game behind the Mariners, so they're not far in this race, and yet they're what? Technically number 6 down, like from a wild card spot because of this BS that's going on between the Orioles and the Yankees.
Well, they're 3.5 back. They're 2 teams away from a wild card spot.
Right, but but as easy as they're right now behind in the wild card spot, they could very easily overtake the Mariners.
Oh yeah, and then
be winning the division. You know,
yeah,
so like
the Astros are not chasing the wild card. The Astros are chasing the division because it's closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
100%. And so this is the league that is like absolute going to be. I don't think that anything that I think the National League, like I said, what you're looking at now with the National League, what we just showed, it's over. Those are the teams we're going to talk about for the rest of the year, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. This is absolute chaos. I don't even know. We're talking the Twins are relevant for how long? Do we actually think that the Twins are going to make it somehow to October?
Yes.
Do we think the Royals are?
Yeah, perhaps.
The Royals, when the Red Sox and the Astros are right behind them, and like I said, we've still got this Orioles-Yankees BS going on.
That'll figure itself out.
Knows
That'll figure itself out.
And look, if I had to put money on which team, it is gonna sort itself out. I'm not saying it won't, but if I had to put on money on which team was gonna somehow self-implode between now and October, and then end up not even getting a wild card spot, I think we all know which team I'm going to say. So
the Yankees. I want to hear you say it.
Interesting.
What team is that?
It's the Yankees.
Okay,
it's the Yankees. Yeah,
cool,
of course.
cool.
Yeah, obviously. Just like what? But
I just want to hear you say it.
you want, geez, I wouldn't even put it past the Rays or the Rangers at this point. Not because I think they would actually do it, but because these guys are, well, maybe not the Rangers, but the Rays are also 5 games back from the wild card, and I don't know. Those
4.5.
are sneaky too.
4.5. The half game matters a lot. 4.5.
I'm looking at MLB.com.
Someone wants to play the game already.
I was gonna say I think it's changed since then, and so maybe we should do the MLB.com scrolling. I don't know, but yeah, they're 5 games back. I mean, all of this. If you want storylines, if you want drama this season, I say the American League is gonna have it, because I don't even know. Other than the Guardians, I'm telling you they're gonna win the Central. Other than that, I don't know what money I would put on which teams are gonna actually make it to the playoffs this year.
I think you brought up a good point about the Astros and Mariners in the West. That Western American League West, that race, I mean, whoever doesn't win that race between the Mariners and the Astros, and shoot, if you want to include the Rangers, but I think it's the Mariners and the Astros, whoever doesn't win that race, it's a very likely that team doesn't make the playoffs. So which
is crazy. 3, which is
Yeah,
like,
but that's just because
what are we talking about?
the other teams in the other divisions they
Are
have better
just
records,
so good.
and they also, I
Right. No,
mean,
I know.
yeah.
But
So
then this gets kind of back to as I'm looking at, like, this has been eye-opening, this view of today, because we were just talking about with the All-Star break that is it possible, the American League has won so many All-Star games and the National League hasn't, but when you really look at it, like, the National League seems to have a lot more name power, more stars, these teams and all that, right? Okay. I don't know. This still makes and I look, if you disagree with me, leave it in the comments. I want to hear what you think. This makes the case for me that the American League is the better league at this point in time because we talked about 6 teams, 9 with the National League. There's like half the teams in the American League are in contention right now, and I could see somehow making the playoffs.
I mean, you could say that half the teams in the National League are in contention too.
But it's not the same. You know what I'm saying.
It is. It is the same. I mean, okay, look.
You just said, the other records are so good that number 2 from a division might not even make it. And we're not talking about number 2 being like the White Sox. We're talking about like the Houston Astros potentially not making
look,
it.
it's like that in the National League Central too. It's just your weak division. Every league will have a weak division. The Cardinals are second place in the Central, and they're not in a wild card spot right now.
I would still argue though that, like, is the West the weak division?
Yes.
How do you say that when the Sox are on like a
because they have the
20
the
game
one
losing
team
streak?
doesn't make your division.
I just don't think that you can be not the worst division when your worst team is so much worse than everybody else. It's the averages
I think
just,
you
like,
can
don't
because the
net out.
Tigers up to 4 out of the 5 teams are pretty damn good teams, and those 4 out of 5 teams could kind of whoop up any other division's teams outside of the American League East and maybe the National League East or
What's
or National
crazy
League
is
West.
that, like, what's crazy is the AL Central, if I'm not mistaken, has both the team with the best record and the team with the worst record.
Well, I mean, yeah, they played the White Sox a little bit more. It's better now because they balance the schedules, but
No, but I'm just saying it's like insane to me that in this one league, in
I
this
feel
one
like that's usually how it
division,
works out.
that there's always the absolute best
Yeah.
and the absolute worst. Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's usually
I'm
how
new to
it
this.
kind of works out.
Look, I'm new to this. You can't tell by my crazy takes right now.
I will want to point out though that the Rays, do not sleep on them. I'm not saying
I
that
said
they'll
that.
do it. I know, but I'm not saying that they'll do it. I
No.
want to focus on it a little bit because you mentioned it.
It
But
could happen though.
it is a very Rays like thing to do, to trade every single one of their, like Randy, Zach Eflin, Ahmed Rosario, like players that were role players.
Paredes, Yandy's hurt.
Isak. Well, Yandy's not hurt. He's here.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah. But I mean, trade away really good players, and their only All-Star, Isak Paredes, good catch, and still find a way to make the playoffs. Like, they're weird like that.
They'll pull some guy up from a farm in like Nebraska, and the next thing you know, they're like on their way to the World Series,
I
and you're
don't
like,
think
what
Yeah.
is happening? Like, what timeline
And
is
just
this?
wait for September when they call up their new guy, Wander
another
Franco.
the 5th number 1 prospect.
Wander Franco without the issues. Hopefully, Junior Caminero. They call him El
Yeah,
Maximo.
can we bet these guys? Maybe, I don't know.
No, that's way too much work.
Yeah,
All right.
why would we do, like, I don't know, a background check?
Let's talk. I mean, we're focusing a lot on teams at the top of the standings. We're focusing on teams that are
Great
fighting for
segue.
first place.
I'm in the middle of a great segue.
Those
I
are
know
great
it.
storylines. We all love teams in at the top fighting for first place, fighting to win, because that's what sports is about. But sports isn't always about winning. Sports,
Well, the thing about sports is that if there's a winner,
there's a loser.
there has to be a loser. Yeah.
And there's one team. I feel like our father always raised us. Whatever we're doing, we want to be the best at it.
Did he?
I think so. At least I think so. He raised me that way.
Okay.
Maybe not you. He raised me that way.
Okay.
Whatever I'm doing, got to be the best at it. There's one team that takes that and really takes it to heart. And it's the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox are so bad. They are the best bad team ever, potentially. They are on a 20-game losing streak. They are fighting for history to become the worst team in baseball of all time. Right now, they're on a 20-game losing streak. They've been swept so many series in a row. The longest losing streaks.
at least like what, 9 or
Whatever 20 divided by 3 is a good
right.
guess.
Like 7,
Almost 7, yeah. 6 to 7-ish series. They've been swept in a row. Do you know how hard that is to do? I was telling someone earlier today, you accidentally win a game every now and then by accident.
So you had a theory that you could bet $1 that the White Sox were going to lose between now and the end, and you would make a ton of money, right? And I thought that's not a bad idea. That's a good idea. And then around game 10 that they were losing, I was like, I got to stop because, like you said, eventually, statistically, they're going to have to win a game, and they haven't. And it just feels like it feels like the universe is on some sort of precipice, and like
Great word. Holy shit. Good job.
There's a parallel universe where the White Sox do win a game, and then there's a parallel universe where they don't.
Yeah, that parallel universe was 2005 when they won the World Series. It is a long time ago.
I'm just saying, it just feels like every night we're on this like
White Sox watch.
Which universe are we on now? Oh, they're still losing. Okay, like I guess we're still in this timeline. It's just insane.
I think no. Listen, I think that the White Sox are doing something very important right now. Okay, who wants to watch a bad team? Nobody. They suck. But
unless
I'm gonna tune into a White Sox game now. So maybe they're giving White Sox fans something to cheer about because they are so bad. They've lost so many games. Do you cheer? Do you cheer to continue the losing streak, or do you cheer that they snap it? I, for one, am kind of cheering that they continue. I want you to be the best at something. It is so hard to lose that many games 100%. In a row, and they're doing it. You can do it, guys. You can get to the record, which I can point out. But
I've shared my theory that I think this is actually the White Sox way to, like, you know, bring economic revitalization to the south side of Chicago. And so I am absolutely all for this. And like you said, look, if they win a game at this point, and I know we have White Sox people that watch, and I love the White Sox now. Like, I'm becoming a White Sox fan by how terrible
I root for them as well. I root for success.
This is why I'm rooting for them to lose. Because if they win at this point, they're just having a crap year.
Yeah.
But if they lose,
a historical year,
they're having the best, worst year we've seen since, like, what, the 80s?
I'll tell you right now, and that's a great point. That's exactly my vibe that I've been giving. But I'll tell you right now. So this is what the history they are chasing right now. This is the history they're chasing. Right now they're at 20 games. The only worst losing streak beyond 20 games, 1988 Baltimore Orioles, 1961 Philadelphia Phillies. Those are the only two teams within the last 100 years, 130 years to lose over 20 games. The team with the most losses in all of baseball was like in 1889, which that doesn't count. They were throwing underhand at that point, and that was the Louisville Colonels. They don't even have a baseball team in Louisville for major leagues anymore. So that just shows you. I think okay. Let me ask you this: is the record 23, the 61 Phillies, or are you going for the 26 Colonels?
We're going all the way. I don't want to see these guys win a game
till 30.
For another month.
Till 30.
Yeah, another month. Let's not win a game, and then let's win in like insane fashion. Like, let everyone have already
come back down 9-0 in a ninth or something.
And then they just, like, it's a no-no or something. They just go completely insane. It's like home runs left and right. Like, that's what I want.
I say if they get 23, if they get to 24 and break 23, you are the record holder for worst team ever. But if you beat 26, which is held by a team from 18, like Civil War era team, you are like God's team when it comes to like being bad. You've made it. So aim for 23. If they get 23, I'll crown them of modern baseball. And then if they get past 26, they are like, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So let me ask you this. Currently, they played like 114 games. They've won 27. They're 27 and 87. The worst records in Major League Baseball history, the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, which are they're the Indians and then the Guardians. It's pretty much the Guardians. They're the Guardians. They went 20 and 134, which is terrible. But again, they were playing slow pitch softball at that point. I don't think you should count that. 1916, Philadelphia A's won only 36 games, 36 and 117. I don't know if you can count that either. I guess you can. I say 1908 is the cutoff for me. The 1935 Boston Americans. I mean, you're starting to hear teams the Philadelphia A's, Spiders.
Look, I want them to win 3 more games. Let them get to 30 wins. The rest I want to be losses.
That's crazy. I think you should go after. If you get the losing streak, that's all right. You don't have to get the worst team ever mantle.
I just think while we're here, I'm a bit of an overachiever. Let's just go for it. Let's just really go for it, you know?
I'm just happy that a team can be so bad and still yet be exciting. And I think that
I'm
the
loving
White
it.
Sox are doing something good for their fans. Is giving their fans. I mean, I want to know, if you're a White Sox fans, are you rooting for a win, or do you want to see this bad train keep going? It's turned into kind of
It went from me
movement.
feeling sad like 3 weeks ago, a month ago. I was like, oh my God, I feel so sad. I feel so sad for the White Sox and the White Sox fan. Now I'm like, we can't win. I am now on the train. I'm with you guys. We cannot win. We got to keep losing. I'm putting myself in your camp as well.
I just feel bad because that team has gone to such crap, and I don't know what caused it to, because they had a pretty solid team.
Oh, and they'll come back next year and they'll like win the World Series. That's just how this stuff works.
Zero chance. Zero chance. All right. Well, that's the White Sox. Let's talk about a team that got a little bit of a jump start. I wish they sucked as much as the White Sox do, and that's the New York Yankees. They got a new player in the trade deadline, Jazz Chisholm Jr. You like Jazz, Lisa? Jazz Chisholm gets traded to the Yankees, and he kind of gives them a spark that they've been looking for as they were kind of scuffling towards the All-Star break. Jazz comes over from the Marlins. He's got some swag. He immediately starts hitting the ball. Since joining the Yankees, he's batting .300, going 9 for 30. He's got 4 bombs. 2 of them were 2 home run games. And that was against the Phillies, helped the Yankees sweep the Phillies, and he's got 8 RBIs since joining the Yankees. And it seems the fans are enjoying him as well. If we check this out, this was him making a play at third base, and then you know how they do the roll call out in the bleachers? He shot a jump shot out to right field to the Yankees fans, who seem to be loving him right now.
Sure.
Is Jazz Chisholm what the Yankees needed? You're the local Yankees expert. Did he just give the Yankees another, like, a little adrenaline shot?
He did. And the Yankees are what Jazz needed, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think that he, as we know, it's not like he's not a player. We don't know his name. We do. He was on the cover of like MLB The Show a few years ago, right? This is a guy that people know. And he was relegated to the Marlins, and now he's joining the Yankees. He's joined the star-studded lineup. I think it's a perfect marriage for both of them. Jazz helps the Yankees help Jazz. They needed each other. Now, the question is not to me, like, is Jazz good for the Yankees? Yes. Are they feeling him? Yeah, because they're winning. Sure. What's going to happen? That is not within Jazz's control as much as it's not within, like, Judge's control or Soto's control.
Whose control is it in?
It's in like whoever the Yankees piss off up there consistently, where they just end up like kicking their own butts. And then it's really, as a team, they seem to just find a way to get in their own way so much that I think it would become like a team thing. So is it Jazz is going to stop them? No, it's just like, what inventive way are the Yankees going to find to stop themselves from being the team that we all know they should be?
I think you made a good point that Jazz needed the Yankees. And low-key, I kind of had a feeling when they made that trade, I was like, Jazz could kind of go off in New York. He just seems like the kind of player that plays better with eyes on him. He plays better
100%.
under the spotlight. Let's see how long it lasts, though. So right now, the Yankees fans love him because he started so hot with the Yankees, and in the first series against the Phillies, he hit 4 home runs in 3 games. So obviously, when you do well, Yankee fans are going to love you.
Yeah, Yankees fans are a fickle crew.
I want to see how he does, or how will he take it? Because you're not going to hit great all the time. Ask Aaron Judge. He started off terrible, and now he's at 41 home runs. But I want to see how Jazz Chisholm handles it when the Yankees fans are not
what's
cheering
good for Jazz is he's only got half the season left. So if he can stay hot,
honestly.
Yeah, right. If he can stay hot, then he might not have to deal with this as much. But yeah, you're right. Yankee fans are very fickle, right? They love you when you're doing great. They boo you when you're doing bad. That's just how
I
it is
don't
over there in the
know. I
Bronx.
don't know if this is enough to put the Yankees over the edge either. I mean, Jazz is a good player, but I don't. I mean, they
It's
got
not
the tools, but there's something under the hood that's not there for the Yankees,
the
and maybe it
Yankees.
is. Like it's
No,
there sometimes, and then it goes away sometimes.
no. Look, the Yankees could start every game with like a 2-run lead from now into the rest of the season, and they would still find a way at
You're
some
kind of
point
crazy.
I'm just saying,
You
like,
sound like a
I'm
Yankee
waiting.
fan.
Well, I'm waiting for them to figure out what it is now, that is going to mentally block them from being able to succeed.
Do you think that the Yankees could be like a team where if they just win one World Series, they might go on a run?
Yes,
They might like they
I
just have
do.
to get to that mountaintop, and then after that they'll kind of loosen
100%.
up. Maybe
100%.
they're playing. I don't know what it is.
No, I think I mean, we've talked about this ad nausea. So I'll just say, I think it's obviously some sort of cultural issue going on within the Yankees organization. I think that something's been rotten in Denmark for quite some time.
They play in New
Which is
York.
why in New Amsterdam, which is what it used to be called, if we're going
Is
1770s.
that a drink?
Um, no, was it New York, New Amsterdam when it
Yeah, it
was
was. But is it New
controlled by the
Amsterdam's a
Dutch?
drink too? It's like a vodka
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. But I was just saying because Denmark. Anyway, look, we've talked about this. There's an issue with the organization. The best way to to fix that is to win. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. If they somehow win a World Series in the next couple of years, we could have like the beginning of the next Yankee dynasty. The question is, can they get there? And I don't know that they can get out of their way long enough to let that happen. So I don't know. Short of like an exorcism in their locker room, I'm not really sure what that team needs, but here we are.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. I'm looking to see when the next time the Orioles and Yankees play one more series against each other at the very end of the year, and that's going to be September 24th through the 26th at Yankee Stadium. So hopefully these two teams are still tied up close to each other to where that series matters, and that would be amazing for playoffs and just September baseball, honestly. All right. If
It's
you're
time
cool with
for
Jazz, yeah, is it?
it is. It's time for your favorite segment, my favorite segment. If you're
Rip
watching
the
this, your
Band-Aid
favorite
off.
segment. It's fair or
All
foul.
right, check this out. The first video. This dude, how do you get hit with the home run ball that you're watching all the way? It wasn't like he had his head turned. He's staring right at the ball. Bow! Right in the face. What are you looking for, dude? Maybe this guy needs to bring a glove. Fair or foul? What is this? Or maybe he's just
It's
so
so red.
manly. Maybe he's just so manly that he wasn't scared of the ball. He's like, I'm not moving. That ball's coming to me. I'm not
It's
moving.
Hold on, sorry, it like is rendering really slow for me. I'm like, what?
I'm
What the
thinking. I'm
hell?
thinking this is either an absolute. Maybe he's blind. You know, blind people can go to the baseball games too and enjoy baseball games. I'm not saying that, but maybe he's just such a man. He sees this ball coming at him,
Maybe he didn't see
105
it.
miles
I
an
don't think
hour
he
off the
saw it.
bat, and he's
I
not.
don't think he saw it.
I'm starting to say this is fair. I thought this guy was a clown, but now that I look at it, I think he saw it all the way. He sees the ball coming, and he's just man diesel. I'm not moving. I'm not a wussy. I'm not moving away from that ball. Bam! Right off the face. But then he
Yeah,
didn't think it was gonna hurt him, so he kind of whimpered after that.
I think he lost it in the air. I don't think he saw it, and then it was on top of him. Which, you know what, buddy, it happens to the best of us. I get it. I've been there. Maybe not like
Never
that.
happened to me.
I was gonna say maybe not like that, but I've lost balls in the air, sure. Um, yeah, no, foul. Foul because I bet that hurt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that
I'm gonna
happened to
say
you,
fair
sir.
because of the effort. I'm going based off the theory that he was trying to be a macho man and not moving away from that ball. But I can kind of see what you're saying. A little twilight sky up in Seattle. He lost the ball in the clouds. You know it's cloudy in Seattle usually, so maybe he lost it in there. All right,
I think
let's
he did, yeah.
check this out. The next video is pinch runner Stuart Baroa from the Toronto Blue Jays, making sure he gets ready to run for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's been sitting on the
You
bench
know,
for a while.
there's always a personality hire at every company. And I think that this is what we're seeing. This guy just clearly has a go-getter attitude. He's probably a lot of fun to be around. He's got a lot of energy, and I like what I'm seeing. The two mitts and the stretching is insane.
He's got a
Like,
lot going
he
on.
is so prepared for this that I really hope that this was like two outs, or no, I can see there's one out, but like a 2-out situation and the next batter strikes out, he doesn't get to do anything. Like, I kind of hope that's what happened
This
because he's just too prepared.
it's not even the stretching. I'll be honest. It's like the type of stretching. Like he starts with
Yeah,
normal ones, and then he goes to the flying jump kicks, and then the Patrick Stars right after.
I'm saying it's the energy. It's giving
I
personality
don't know if
higher.
that's personality hire. I think that's just a ball player right there, making sure he's ready to do the job. That's nothing but strictly business. I could see this going crazy on TikTok though, as a TikTok dance. I'm not gonna lie. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
maybe you need to bring that
I,
in.
I might have to. I'm gonna say fair though.
Fair,
Yeah, fair, fair.
fair. A very skeptical fair, but a fair nonetheless.
I wonder if he scored. I don't think he did because the Yankees won that
No,
that
I'm
series.
sure he didn't.
All right,
That's what I'm saying.
let's look at the next one. We're gonna look at the puzzle cube. It's the Rumbling Ponies. I don't know where. Birmingham? I don't know. Not Birmingham. I don't know where they're from. But the Rumbling Ponies, a minor league baseball team, doing a giveaway of a puzzle cube, aka a Rubik's Cube, and they're gonna be wearing these Rubik's Cube jerseys during the game.
Why?
Fair or foul?
Why are they
because
doing
they
it?
can, Lisa. That's why. Like a good
Yeah.
American baseball team. Why do we do anything? Because we can.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If it has a good reason, then sure. They're in Binghamton. Um,
Mm. Where's that?
Foul because it looks awful. It doesn't even look like a cool Rubik's Cube. I'm sure there's Rubik's Cube shirts out there that I'd be like, "Oh, okay. That's a fashion. This isn't a fashion choice." I see there's a player's number on it, so I have to assume that perhaps if I'm being like gracious, that a player really does Rubik's Cube super well or something. I don't know, but I'm not into it. I'm not feeling it.
I think this one's pretty sweet. So if I were to get you that,
They're in Binghamton, New York. No, I don't like the Rubik's Cube thing, but that's just me.
just
I'm
because
a
you can't solve it
like
doesn't
that.
mean you have to hate on it. I think it's fair. I enjoy this. Minor league teams are fun because they do stupid stuff like this.
I
Did
just
you
think it's
see?
kind of a scam. A Rubik's Cube is kind of a scam because people, it makes it appear as though that person like has figured out some puzzle, but in reality, if you just like memorize the correct amount of like
I don't know.
steps, then you can get it. And so I don't know that
I don't
like
know.
I don't know that it's that impressive
I've known
actually.
you almost my entire life, and I've never seen you solve a Rubik's cube. So
Since almost the minute you were born, you've known me.
I didn't remember you until I was about 3. So
Well, I remember you
yeah, well I've known you
every
almost my
moment of
entire.
your life.
You've known me every moment of my life, but I've known you
That's when I
almost every
actually was
moment.
solving most of my Rubik's cubes when you were 3.
Oh,
Is
so when
I
you were
so
before
so
I
you
was
just
3, so when
forgot
you were
is the
like
problem.
age
When I
4
was
to
6,
0.
yeah.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and look at the future matchups we got going on here. Midweek matchups. Anything that's knocking your socks off right now? I'll tell you. We got a shootout in the West, but who cares about that? The Rangers are dead. We're gonna talk about the Phillies and Dodgers. Hello.
Eh.
Eh.
I've got my eyes on the White Sox. I've got my eyes
On
on
history.
the Padres. I've got my eyes on the Brewers.
I got my
I'm not really
eyes.
concerned about the Texas standoff. I'm not really concerned about the Phillies and the Dodgers.
That's lame. You should be concerned.
I'm
That's
somewhat I'm somewhat interested in the Mariners situation in with Detroit, but that's about it for me with the midweek.
Listen, people, I'll shoot you straight. Phillies Dodgers is the best series on here for the middle of the week. Red
Cool.
Sox Royals is all right too. But if
What
you're
in
not,
tarnation?
screw that. You're tuning in 10:40 p.m. Eastern tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Over in Oakland, baby. The Coliseum's last stand. They've been bad last year. The A's have been good this year, kinda. They've been better than what people thought. And they're facing the team is probably the worst in history.
The team to beat right
And
now.
the White Sox, I don't know if you're going to try to win. I try to lose, honestly. It's like a battle to see who will lose. And I'm rooting for the A's to win. I'm rooting for the White Sox to lose. Not because I hate the White Sox, but because I love seeing history. And the White Sox, you're right
Yes.
there. You're so close to history. You can do it.
And just so we don't have to say it again, take both of those sentiments and apply it to the weekend matchups where we're gonna feel the same thing about the White Sox, where hopefully they do what they need to do
Hopefully it
in
matters,
Oakland
baby.
and they go back home and they lose again.
Let me ask you that because we're talking about the White Sox really quick. Do you remember the scene in Moneyball where the A's actually,
No.
they're I didn't even say the scene yet.
I've like seen 5 minutes of that movie.
Okay,
so
well, let me explain the scene to you. There's a scene where the White Sox, or the A's are going for the longest win streak in baseball. So the exact opposite of the White Sox, right? And they're down, or they're up like 9-0 to the Royals, I believe it was. And this just happened in real life. They're up 9-0 early, and the Royals end up coming back. So they're about to blow the win streak game to break the record, up 9-0. It's like crazy. And then this guy, Hatterberg, comes up, and there's a scene in the movie where he hits a walk-off home run, but like the music quiets and it's really dramatic, and he hits a home run. I saw a joke on Twitter that like Cubs player Michael Bush to hit a home run against the White Sox to extend their losing streak to 24, breaking the record. And it was just funny. Like, yeah, the dramatic home run is tied to such like an inconsequential team, but it's not, because it's history, baby. This is what you're fighting for. Just a bad year or historically bad. Let's go for number one. That's it. You can continue.
Okay. Where you have the weekend up, right?
Yep.
Okay, Mets Mariners might be interesting. Phillies Diamondbacks. We talked about the Diamondbacks are Diamondbacks, so that could be an interesting matchup. Don't sleep on the Astros and Red Sox. The Red Sox, they've got still some gas in the tank.
There's
for this
a big
year.
one here you're missing right in the middle of the screen, in my opinion. Two of them.
Okay.
What?
Braves are going to the. Which
What?
one, man? Which one am I missing?
The two teams that top the American League Central, the Guardians and the Twins.
Okay, I was getting there. I was gonna say the Braves are gonna be in Colorado.
Are you
so
going
let's see
down
if
the
they
line or
lose.
something?
I kind of was. Yeah,
Oh.
I was still reading them. But yeah, no, you're right. The Guardians and the Twins, I think, are going to be interesting. And then, like we said, the Cubs and the White Sox, we're going to be obviously rooting for the White Sox to lose, as we've beaten that horse to the ground, similar to the White Sox confidence probably at this point. And the Pirates and the Dodgers. I mean, that's another one. Will Skeens pitch again to Ohtani? Probably, if I had to bet, just for the views, but we'll see. Which leaves us, I think, with our primetime picks of the week.
Yeah, well, also the Cardinals and Royals, too. That's a good rivalry. I don't know if you mentioned that. That's going to be a good rivalry. Two teams in Missouri. They have a historical kind of clash that they like to do. So Cardinals-Royals could be a good series. But I'm interested in watching that Guardians-Twins series. And then, obviously, White Sox-Cubs, if that matters. Or if it doesn't. You catch my drift. All right, let's look at the primetime picks of the week. Let's look at our standings. I am back, baby. I'm back to 500, and I'm a game up on Lisa, and there's not a lot of baseball left. So, but we're so close to each other
So
that
you open, which means I get my picks first,
yeah,
right?
and this
So
is
I'm
gonna be a
go
dog
with-
pick. Whoa, I feel like we're getting rushed here through the most important part of the show right now. But let's go ahead.
We're getting close to time. I just want to keep this moving. I'm gonna go with the Mets in Seattle, and I'm gonna go with the Orioles in Tampa.
All right, I'll go Seattle, and I'll go Rays because I got to go with my Rays.
Okay.
Other than that, if you don't got anything,
No, I think that's it. Do you actually think the Mariners are gonna win, or are you just picking the opposite of what I picked?
no, I picked the Mariners because Randy's on the team, and I picked the Rays because they're my
Oh.
team.
Fair. Okay. No, that's fair. All right. Well, I think that brings it. That's everything I had. Is that everything you had?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, I guess that's the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, make sure you rate, review, subscribe, comment, like, share, do all the things you're supposed to do, please. And thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
Yep, and stay tuned. I might have to post a TikTok of me doing the stretch dance.
And I'll be
that guy was
looking
doing.
for you.
All right, till next time.
Bye.
Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling differently. Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling differently.